Hi, I'm gonna do a bit of a test dev streaming kind of dev diary thing and see how I go. Show you what I've been working on the last couple of weeks. Basically, I'm trying to get a adventure game kind of system going in Unity. There's a few out there that don't really do things the way I would like, that I tried, and so I kind of just thought I'd try and do it myself, which has been really fun. So the main thing I want to try and do is get a lot of the functionality of Adventure Game Studio into AGS, into Unity. One of the main things is having a script interface which is really clean and lets you do a bunch of sequential actions. So have like a character walk to a position and then wait and then face to the right and then say something and then have another character say something and then walk over here kind of, and having that just be like line after line, just like a movie script almost, but obviously with a bit more coda stuff like semicolons. So the alternative things on the market, a lot of them are like trying to let you get away with not having to do any scripting, but that ends up just making things really clunky when you're actually, when I'm good at typing, I'm good at programming, so I can't, I don't want to be just like dragging things around, and then if I want to just do some simple kind of scripting like a loop or choose between a bunch of random options or something a little bit more complicated, it gets really, really fiddly. And that's sort of like stuff that you want to be doing heaps and heaps. So like lots of interactions and dialogue for everything. So I'll go through and show you, I guess the fundamental, the basic things you need that AGS has, say like for an adventure game, are rooms, which are your sort of scenes. You've got a bunch of them. Characters, which are obviously characters. They kind of go between the scenes, and they have some sort of, they've got dialogue they display above their head. They've got some interactions. They've got like movement, stuff like that. In each room, you want to have hotspots, which are basically regions where you say, like if you click on that region, there'll be an interaction, or if say you walk into this region, it'll tint you blue or whatever. And the other thing is props, which are basically, they're similar to regions, I guess, sometimes, but basically anything where it's a visual. So it might be like this sign thing is a prop that'll, you can position that somewhere, and that might have animation as well. So it's like a character, but it's only in one room. And then you've also got walkable areas, which is where the character can walk, obviously, and usually you have multiple of them, and you can sort of block off bits and stuff like that. So that's the basics, and I've kind of got really rough thing going where I've got the scriptable stuff. I've got those basic elements going. You can move around. You can like right click to look at stuff, and you can. Another thing that AGS does really nicely that a lot of other adventure game engines don't is just having things be snappy, and like you can skip through things. You can cancel like cutscenes, and skip all that stuff, because I think it's stuff you kind of have to program in to make sure everything is skippable. And when it's not there, things just feel really clunky, because you're always going to be kind of doing the same interaction a few times when you don't want to. And so like if I've already clicked that, it says nice sign, I guess, and then I click it again, and I have to wait or whatever. That's really annoying, and especially if doing that has like I don't know, like it's a longer cutscene, like this kind of thing where they're all doing a bunch of things. If you have to do that multiple times, that's really annoying. Whereas I've got like just a bit where I press escape and it's done. So that sort of skippability is like quite good. So I'll jump in and I guess show you. What's the best thing? Show you sort of my interface, I guess. So I've got this Unity Quest editor up here. I've kind of, the main thing I've done is try to, say when you create a room, there's a bunch of different objects, and so I've kind of, the main focus is making that really easy, because you want to add a bunch of rooms. So I've only got art for one room, so I'll make another one. I'll just call it Crossroads. I'll just call it Crossroads, so that I'll save the current scene and it'll open the new one. Oh, got some errors. Hopefully that's nothing bad. So that's added this here. You can click scene to skip between the scenes. It's just added an empty room. It's kind of got a tiny walkable area, but nothing else. The first thing you do is you want to add some props because that's what has visuals. So I'll add, start with the background, and I don't want this one to be interactive. I haven't really spent much time on the visuals workflow. I'm just adding these Toolkit 2D things, which I haven't got really used to how to use this yet, so it's pretty clunky at the moment. I guess that's all I have to do. Another thing AGS has is these lines I'm sort of dragging up and down, and that basically sets where you want the walk behind, where you want the character to pass behind the room. So because this is a background, he never passes behind it, so you put it right at the top. So like that again, and add another prop for, say, the main part of the room, and it's a bit slow to update, and I'm not actually, there are a few errors, but these are supposed to change the names as well. I'll call that room, and I'll call that background. So room 1, and that'll update. Yeah. The room 1, room village, background, oops, room. Cool. And this one is also, the character never goes behind this, but it's behind it's in front of the background bit. Create another one quickly. I'll create the other two, I guess. So there's the signpost, which is an interactable prop. Sign, and sign. Okay. So this one, want the kind of walk behind to be just like there, maybe, and I'll move it to the center so that we can sort of see better. And because it's interactable, we've got a, what is it? Mesh render? No. Oh, damn. Maybe we didn't add it. I'll add it. Polygon Collider 2D. Yeah, I'm sort of still editing this stuff, so it's all a bit clunky. And just make it really roughly. So now, hopefully, the player will walk behind this sign thingy, and everything has kind of weird offsets as well, so it's pretty annoying. But then once you run it, okay, I'll start the character. The main character is Hillary, so he starts in the village at the moment. Change it so it starts in the crossroads. I've added this other thing where you press Control M and it'll like copy the mouse coordinates, which is something pretty useful. So no, just 70, -59. Okay, so that'll start the player in the room. And yeah, there's no walkable areas, so he can't, that's kind of busted. So I'll just edit this walkable area collider. Inverted, I think. Roughly. And then I'll add a obstacle thing as well, which is basically just a hole, and I'll just make it so you can't walk into this thing. So later on I'd probably add it so that props can each individually set one of these things so that the player can't walk in front of them. But now, okay, cool. So now I'm walking around and not, you know, pathfinding kind of. Yeah, all good. Okay, so that's basically how you set up a room. Then when you've got the room selected, you can add hotspots and interactions. I'll just add a quick one for, say, Anvil. Great. And again, it's got a collider thingy. Oops. So now I'll show you how I do an interaction. So I've got these buttons here on interaction on look. You can also use them from here. So basically what this does is it creates a script if there's not one already for that room. So it'll create one for Crossroads, and it'll create a function for lookout and Anvil basically. This is where the magic happens. So now I've got this on lookout thing, and so the kind of engine will call that when you looked at it. And so the worst thing, so I just copied some mouse corners. The worst thing about this is having to do yield return, which is what lets it be sequential, like on every line. So if I say c.hillary.walk to blocking, then that'll make the character walk to this mouse coordinate I sort of just copied before. And then say hi Anvil. Don't need that. And that's really all there is to it. So then you can also face left. Oops, left. Yield return. So E for engine, wait, skip. So it's like a skippable wait for like half a second, and then maybe face the other way again. And then actually I've got this. Another way of doing dialogue is just having a dash. You don't say much, dude. So like when you've got a bunch of lines like that, it might look a bit better. I'm not really sure exactly what form I want that stuff to come. So yeah, this yield return thing's really annoying, and I wish there was like macros or something I could use to get rid of that. But still, it's basically the same number of lines you would have in AGS, and it means you can have more complicated stuff in here. So I could say Hillary get his get instance, so that's his game object, and I could, I don't know, add a component to it, assign motion component or something, scale mag to that, and then get new vector 2 or 1. Sure. Build delta mag. See if that works. So basically, when I right click on it, it starts doing weird scale stuff. So maybe I'd do a face right at the start, so that it's facing the correct way at the start. But yeah, so you can kind of do weird Unity stuff, but also have this sequential script stuff, which is nice that you have in AGS. Get rid of that weird thing. And that's just a component I wrote. So kind of, yeah. It's got nothing to do with this. What else? I've kind of got this, like, been doing some camera stuff. So I've got, say, the props can have, where did I put it? Parallax depth. So greater than 1 is further away. So if I put that at like 0.5, then when I walk around, it'll parallax in the background. Sorry, I've got to also set the room's width because it's so sort of that specifies how far the camera will go left or right. So now like there's a bit of parallax in the background. Okay. Next thing, characters. So the other thing that you can do with rooms is you've got a bunch of different scripts for them as well. So you've got when you enter the room, then there'll be like a transition. So entering the room is basically just like set stuff up in the scene. So say, okay, I want this character here, and I want this prop here, and I want this thing particle like going over here, and then the room will fade in, and you get this on enter room. So that one's useful because a lot of the time you enter the room, you want something cool to happen. So again, just creates the function and sticks your cursor there on enter room after fade. So I might say want Hillary to start off screen. So maybe I'll start him. Just set up the walkable area. So maybe Hillary starts over here. So I'll add an on enter room as well. Okay, on enter room, c.hillary.position equals vector 2. So that'll start him in the right place, and then maybe he walks to about the middle of the room, so maybe there. Field return c.hillary.walk to blocking 32 -5.5, and maybe he says something. Field return c.hillary nice anvil. Oh, missed a semicolon somewhere, I think. There we go. Okay. Oh, what's going on here? Next, characters again. There's a bunch of stuff with them, so they have it. Like, say, I created the room, and now down here I've got this folder with Crossroads, which is the name of the thing I created. In that, there's a prefab. There's the script which I generated, and then there's the scene as well. So I can jump between these scenes nice and easily. So the other thing I can create the same way is characters. So make a new one called musician. I don't know how to spell that, but great. Okay, so we've got this musician character. It adds an instance in the scene, but because things persist across different scenes, different rooms, the actual position you put him in can just be sort of a testing you set up, and then the actual position you'll start in the game is what's set in this character component. So script class, put him in the Crossroads too, and okay, let's get some visuals on this guy. Character bard, that'll do. So I'll choose a oops, not that character. I'll choose a text color for him. Maybe this rosy pink color from his cheeks. I'm just offsetting the sprite so that it's at his baseline. I think that's it. Nope. Okay. Again, he's got his interactable, so he's got a polygon collider, so you can say talk to him or whatever, and just read that really badly. And so -106 and -22 is position, and it's clickable. All right, so say if I maybe I'll okay, I'm going to put the character just there. On look at this character, I'm going to yield return c.hillary dot walk to blocking 9 40. So this is somewhere where, like, because you have to do this a lot, I'd probably add a like walk to automatic thing, like a where you position the point you'd like to walk to on an object, because that's something you do over and over. So a lot of those things I'd still like simplify as I go ahead, and then return c.hillary, say what a gay looking minstrel, and then return. Now that I've created this guy, it's added a global musician kind of variable which points to his character, and so I can easily in the script use that, which otherwise would be like finding the game object and all that stuff, which would be really annoying. Wait, okay. Let's see if that works. Okay, and right click to look. What a gay looking minstrel. Wait. Game complete. Yeah, so that's really the basics. A lot of the scripting is just like if you want the character to change rooms, you just say c.hillary, which is the main character, .room equals village, and that'll change rooms for you. So a lot of it's like I want this bit of coding to be as sort of straightforward as possible, and like have everything defined as just like C for character, R for room, so r.crossroads is defined already, and then .get hotspot, which so I haven't really defined this stuff, but you can say get hotspot anvil, dot clickable equals false because you picked it up or something, that sort of thing. And so that stuff's all kind of generated, and you've got nice places for it. And then obviously all the Unity kind of fancy scripting can be kind of laid on top of that. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm missing anything else. That's the bulk of it. So yeah, I'll leave it there. It's been fun doing that, and I'll probably start actually hooking up parts of like the game as well, which is obviously Hillary laughed, because that's why the main character is called Hillary. Cool. Yeah, bye.